Marvelous hello, friends and loved ones, and welcome to one of my favorite yearly traditions. It's time for me to take a look back at my top 10 games of Summer Game Fest, or the Summer Showcase, or not E3, or whatever we've all collectively decided to call it. And sorry this video took a while to come out, but as usual, a certain someone showed up fashionably late to the party, and decided to only give us a partner showcase to boot. Now, some people think I ramble too much in these intros, so let me get the basic rules out of the way as quickly as possible. I'm limiting myself to a maximum of 2 games per presentation. Otherwise, certain shows could absolutely dominate this list. And if a game appeared in multiple shows, I count where I first saw it. I'm also only including games that were newly announced, or more accurately, games that I hadn't heard of prior to seeing them here. And that's basically it for this year, so with all that out of the way, let's get to the games. Atlas Megaten leaks are like snowflakes. No two are alike. Whether it's accidentally uploading your trailer to Instagram ahead of the announcement, or English voice actors confirming what we were already pretty sure about on Blue Sky, sometimes you just have to appreciate the beauty and absurdity of it all. And absurd is certainly a word I could use to describe that Persona 4 Revival announcement. Astute viewers may remember that the Persona 3 remake was actually my number 1 game on this list a few years ago, because it actually had stuff to show, and it genuinely felt like they were proud to announce the game. Revival just felt like they were rushing to confirm that, yeah, it's happening. Persona 4 Remake exists. And I just think if you have that little to show, maybe hold off on showing anything at all. I'm sure the game itself will be perfectly fine, so I'm still excited enough for it, but honestly, it appearing on this list is mostly just a formality for me as a Megaten fan at this point. I think we can all agree this reveal could have been handled a lot better. I had the original Pac-Man World Re-PAC on my list back in 2022, and so I always figured that a Pac-Man World 2 Re-PAC was a simple issue of when, not if. But that doesn't mean I still can't be excited for it finally being announced all the same. The Pac-Man World games are delightfully fun 3D platformers. They're honestly some of my favorites in terms of their art style and controls, and I'm really looking forward to playing this adventure with the updated aesthetics and mechanics. I really feel like I should have more to say about this one, but I don't. I like the Pac-Man World games, I liked Re-PAC, and I'm excited for Re-PAC 2. But I do have to remember to brace myself for when they replace this framed photo of Miss Pac-Man with Pac-Mom, because that's just the Pac world we live in these days, I guess. Okay, this game arguably stretches the rule I have about only including games I'd heard about for the first time. While yes, I do remember seeing a very brief teaser for a game called Toroa in the Wholesome Direct back in 2022, I was so enamored and impressed by the fully fleshed out trailer that I saw for Toroa Skycall at this year's Frosty Game Fest that I knew I wanted to include it on this list. This game puts us in control of the mighty Albatross as we fly through an absolutely gorgeous Maori sky and sea, befriending animals, solving problems, and just engaging with the world around us. The ocean is especially beautiful and really caught my attention, so I can't wait to take flight and lose myself to the serenity of it all. The serenity that I will be constantly disrupting by doing this bit probably every few minutes.
I'm an albatross. I'm an albatross. I'm flapping my albatross wings.
Okay, this is another game that arguably violates the spirit of my rules, but not the rule itself. We learned about Ryuga Gotoko's new title, Project Century, at last year's Game Awards, but seeing as how I don't usually allow project title reveals to be eligible for this list, I think it's plenty fair to allow the game it was revealed to be, Stranger Than Heaven, to secure a spot today. While we initially assumed the Project Century title may have referenced the game taking place around 100 years ago, in 1915, the newest trailer shows off this glamorous 1940 setting, potentially setting up this game as a slightly more supernatural or sci-fi affair that takes place over the span of 100 years. It certainly seems like the studio is trying something new, and I'm absolutely here for it. The combat, setting, and style of it all really captures the things I already love about the Like a Dragon franchise, and I can't wait to see how it all turns out. What is it about gloomy, depressing paperwork simulators that make for such great video games? From Papers, Please to Death and Taxes, there's just something I find engaging about looking over the forms and knowing that my decisions will not only affect my own livelihood, but the well-being of those who come to me for help. And that's what we've got in Compensation Not Guaranteed. Your job is to secure land so that the government can build infrastructure and improve things, but at the cost of the real and somewhat creepy animal people who already live there. These types of games always offer a very unique take on true moral dilemmas, because you can't always be a good person while doing what's best for you. The art style and setting are really memorable, and I'm both eager and anxious to see where things wind up with this one the further I get into it. I don't think there's any way to talk about Norigin without bringing up the elephant-shaped Colossus in the room. Yes, obviously this game seems to wear its inspiration from Shadow of the Colossus on its sleeve, but I'm very much okay with that when I've specifically been wanting more games to do this type of gigantic monster puzzle boss fight extravaganza for years now. The game looks really nice, having an almost journey-like aesthetic amidst an Eastern-inspired world, and the Steam description says we're unveiling the truth about our father in this emotional and gripping origin story. If, like me, you love Shadow of the Colossus or Pray for the Gods, this is definitely worth keeping an eye on to see how it turns out. I feel like I've gotten more and more into horror games thanks to the indie scene, and I Nima is one that definitely stands out to me. You play as a little girl with amnesia who appears to be locked in a basement by your mother. You have to explore and collect words by performing actions and combining them together to form thoughts in your brain to get new words. The goal ultimately seems to be to convince Mom that we are in fact her daughter, so we need to learn about this girl's life and piece together her memories until we're believable. We need to think like her, speak like her, be her. But are we her? Or is this even really our mom at all? We're just not sure. I'm already completely in love with the art style and mechanics here. I'm a huge fan of conversation-based puzzles, so this is scratching that itch in a really unique way for me. Also, the title is a palindrome, so that just makes me smile. Remember, Nima, no devil lived on. My favorite thing about doing these videos each year is that there are always some games that surprise me by just offering an unexpected blend of so many aspects that I personally love. The Great Coffee Caper is a Game Boy-inspired mystery adventure game with an owl detective named Hootsworth, and you have to solve a coffee-themed burglary? That is so cute and charming, and I love that there actually seems to be investigative mechanics to the game. You have to hunt down clues, you have to interrogate suspects. It seems like it's gonna be a really good time. The characters are all really visually appealing, and there does seem to be a little bit of magic in this world, so I'm personally eager to solve the case and figure out just who done it. I've said this before, but I genuinely try not to put remakes or remasters too high on these lists without a good reason. Here's the thing though, when it's an enhanced edition of one of my top 5 favorite video games of all time, you better believe that Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles is gonna be high on my list. And I mean, look, I was just expecting a port of the mobile version of War of the Lions or something, but they're really going above and beyond to make this a truly enhanced version of a title that already means so much to me. The Ivalice Chronicles promises new story scenes, a new interface, and some quality of life improvements that all seem like they're shaping up to be just fantastic. Remember how Triangle Strategy was my #1 game of 2022 and even took the spot as my number one game earlier this year? Yeah, well, a lot of that stems from how much that game reminded me of the things I love and adore about Final Fantasy Tactics. This is truly one of my favorite video games ever, and I can't wait to play it with a fresh perspective on modern hardware. Truthfully, the only reason this game isn't my #1 is because since that first state of play, we have learned a few things that I'm not personally thrilled about, like the omission of the War of the Lions content, which means I can't turn Lad into an Onion Knight, but trust me when I say that I'll get over it. Look, a big part of the reason why I'm always willing to wait for the Nintendo Direct before I put these lists together is because I know the stuff that they show in it has a chance of ranking very high for me. possibly even being my number 1. Yeah, well, with just a partner showcase, Once Upon a Katamari was such a pleasant surprise that it's taken my number 1 spot. I was already super stoked when this iconic and eye-catching series popped up on my screen, but I just thought it was going to be a port of Katamari Damacy Rolling Live, the Apple Arcade title from earlier this year. Which still would have been a cool announcement, it just wouldn't have been my number 1. I love this series so much, and I love the fun and catharsis that just comes from rolling the Katamari around and picking everything up and just getting bigger and bigger. It's thrilling, it's engaging, it's very satisfying, and I can't wait to pick this game up for myself when it launches in just a few more months. Alrighty, and that is my late, so very late look at my top 10 games of Summer Game Fest, or Summer Showcase, or whatever it's called. What were some of your big favorite announcements? Do any of my picks look particularly interesting to you? Please let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, and until next time, take care.